Eric had a great bro. It seems like Eric is always like
How long?
everything.
Okay, before you continue, how long is this video?
Let's listen to it.
Okay, yeah,
We can
because
listen
that
to
way I
like
can.
for
Yeah, good,
4 to
good.
5 minutes of it because
I
like
like.
Yeah, and then
because you got time here.
tell me if you want to skip or whatever.
Did you have it, Joe?
Yeah, I'm putting it up right now.
Pull it up because I think Eric has a good take and it opened my mind to another take and I think I have a really good perspective on this. Okay, go ahead.
Down, we see Roman Reigns come out and he has to respond to the promo that Seth Rollins did saying that Roman's belt doesn't matter, and Roman cut a promo that all over that title. He basically called the Raw title the loser title because he's beaten everyone who's challenging for it. So it's the loser bracket title. And he would point out that Seth Rollins says he works 10 times as hard and 10 times as many shows and 10 times as many matches as Roman Reigns. And Roman said, and I make 10 times more money. It totally neutered not only the title, but anyone who wanted the title. And then here comes Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes announced his WrestleMania decision. He says, I'm still coming for you. I'm still coming for that belt, but not at WrestleMania. He sought counsel from someone who knows Roman very well, and Birmingham lost their mind. The Rock's music hit. It was an incredible pop. A friend of mine was there and said it's the loudest live reaction he's ever seen at a wrestling show in Alabama. Hard to argue that. The Rock himself got goosebumps and showed it to the camera. But boy, you want to talk about awkward. When he was in the ring with Cody, it looked like it was all over Cody's face. Rock approached Cody, shook his hand. They had a private moment where they whispered in one another's ear. And then Cody exits. And it felt a little bit like when Hulk Hogan handed the Ultimate Warrior the world title after WrestleMania 6. We see Cody taking that sad walk back up the aisle. I thought Cody did as good as he could with this. But clearly that struck a nerve to the point where if you watch that clip back right now, they've cut out Cody's conversation with Rock. They've cut out Cody walking out of the ring. And why did they do that? Because that video that they posted to YouTube has the most dislikes, the most thumbs down on YouTube in the history of any video they've ever posted to YouTube. So much so, they took it down. You can't even see thumbs up and thumbs down anymore. But there's your ratio. But I got 97,000 thumbs up and 500,000 thumbs down. And for more than 24 hours, the number one trending topic was hashtag we want Cody. I can't believe WWE didn't immediately put that out as merch, but we know why. But let me just mention, if you're looking for a hashtag we want Cody shirt,
Brilliant.
I know where you can get one.
Yep.
Boxofgimmicks.com or 83weeksmerch.com. We've got the Whoa Movement shirt.
What?
And we've got hashtag we want Cody. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit. I want Cody to finish the story. I'm biased. I'm friends with Cody, but I'm also invested in the story. This is the first time they've made titles matter in a long, long time in WWE. And I'm getting a little tired of people saying, well, they're trying to end Hulk Hogan's number so Roman can be the third longest reigning champion in history, because Hogan's not the record holder. They don't talk about stats like this in baseball or basketball or football. Yes, it's important who's third and who's fourth, but the real run, like think about baseball in 98, Eric. People were talking about Roger Maris's record when they talked about Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. We're not talking about Bruno's record. We're talking about Hogan's record. None of that makes sense to me. I couldn't understand the promo. I don't understand why there's an about face. Cody was just at the Rumble. He just won the Rumble. Like, if you're going to do this with The Rock, why not just have The Rock come out as a surprise and he wins the Rumble? He earned his shot. But I felt like they undermined the big gold belt. They undermined the idea of the Royal Rumble match. And they completely pivoted from a story that we were all invested in to the point that one of their largest licensees built their entire campaign around it. As I understand it, 2K is actively changing the campaign for that game right now. This is a major pivot, and I want to talk about it. But first, I want to see, what did you think of the promo with Cody and Roman and the introduction of The Rock in Birmingham on SmackDown?
I mean, clearly, Rock's entrance, Rock is The Rock. He is the biggest star on the planet, probably in a number of different ways. You can argue it if you're in the mood. I don't care. He is a massive, massive, massive star.
No doubt.
He got the reaction he got because everything he's achieved, contributed, and been a part of in professional wrestling for so long. So you're going to get that reaction. So let's forget about the reaction. and get into the meat of the promo. It's interesting. A couple things were interesting to me. When Cody basically said, how about Roman, just you and me? Heyman stuck around. Not sure why. That immediately kind of, and I know it sounds like a really little thing, but they didn't give Cody that. Cody, they should have given him that. Heyman could have stuck around for a minute, and Cody could have said, should have said, I mean everybody, number one. I would have liked to see that. I cannot wrap my head around the premise, meaning I'm going to give somebody else a shot at something that meant so much to me. I cannot wrap my head around that. As much as I'm very supportive of WWE creative, particularly in the last 12 months. I've been critical of it previously, but the last 12 months, the Bloodline storyline, 18 months really, it's just everything has been so good that when I saw it, I was so confused by it. None of it made sense on the one hand, but I've had time to think about it. And I've read a lot of the online chatter, emotion, the 500,000 dislikes. I get all of that, but I'm optimistic. I'm choosing. I'm not subconsciously optimistic. I'm not optimistic by default. Anybody that knows me knows that. But here's the analogy I thought of earlier today. You go to a movie, sit down with your popcorn, your date, friend, whatever. Go by yourself. Sit there with that popcorn, and you've been looking forward to seeing this movie for a long time. You've seen the trailers. They've done a great job promoting the movie. You are prepared to love that movie when you sit in that chair. You order 2 popcorns. That's how excited you are. OD on buttered popcorn. It's not even real butter, but whatever. You got your popcorn, you sit in, you've seen the previews of coming attractions, you've seen a little vignette that talks about turning your phone off so you don't people around you, and then the music starts, boom, you open up, you're in the opening scene of Act 1. And that movie grabs you, man. You are so glad you went to that, you came to this movie, validated everything you were hoping it would be. And you get into that second act, and now you're at the edge of your seat. Oh my gosh, where's this going to go? Your hero, your protagonist, your baby face, if you will, whatever you want to call it. Everything is going the way you hope it would go. And your hero is overcoming the obstacles one by one by one, whatever that is, whether it's a big green monster or a flamethrower, some mean little person, whatever it is, man, your hero is overcoming everything they throw in his or her way. And now you're getting warmed up. You're into the third act. You know this is a 2-hour movie and there's 20 minutes left, and you're so excited because you're finally going to get what you've been waiting for, because there's been great story, massive anticipation. The action is so good. You believe what's happening. You've allowed yourself to get sucked into the journey of your hero, and you're only halfway through your popcorn. You're so memorized by everything that you see, you can't even eat the popcorn. That's how excited you are. You've got 20 minutes to go, and then all of a sudden, there's a plot twist, a change, something you didn't expect. Oh my God, my hero's not going to. This is not what I wanted to happen. You throw that popcorn, it bounces off the head of the old man sitting in front of you. He turns around, realizes he'll get it. So he shuts up, and you throw another bowl of popcorn, box of popcorn. You are hot, and you get up and you walk out of that movie. You leave your date sitting there going, I don't even want to get in the car with this idiot. He's overreacting. It's a movie. And you get home. Your date calls you the next day, your friend, whatever. Says, man, you should have stuck around because that movie was awesome. What do you mean it was awesome? How could it be? And then you proceed to hear how the movie ended.
Right.
And lo and behold, you were the victim of a finely crafted plot twist. Because just when you think you know the answer, as Roddy Piper would say, they change the game. They change the question. They change the ending. It's a plot twist. That's what they're supposed to do. Now, I know I'm being overly optimistic, perhaps in the minds of some, but I have confidence in the people involved. They have earned my confidence. Not that whether I have confidence in them or not, clearly not, but I have confidence in them. I believe that the same people that crafted some of the best storylines I've ever seen in wrestling, particularly the Bloodline, those same people still work there. Triple H, Paul Levesque, the guy that everybody's been talking about in such high regard over the last 12 months.
Okay, before you leave, what an iconic picture behind him, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I'm doing. I'm getting some cool art from my studio thing. Yeah. All right. So So Eric, I had thought of that, like on that train of thought, but 50% of my mind was thinking that way. But when he said it, he described it like that. It triggered this thought process to me, and I want to see what you guys think. And edit this part out, Joe. But
Yeah.
so all right. So I thought of this.
If you only knew what we were talking about on this commercial break.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So Konnan, I think you are going to be spot on with this, right?
Right.
I am very that narrative. Okay,
Yeah.
that Eric was talking about. You go see a movie, and something, but you go see a movie and you know what the finish is going to be. And when they do the plot twist, you get upset. So this is the way I was thinking about this. And I think what the WWE has right now is a tremendous booking. If we're in creative, Konnan, you should know this too. Look at the Rocky movie. Okay, what made the Rocky movie so good? It's you kind of knew what the story was going to be. The underdog, the fight. He didn't win the fight, but in the end, Rocky won.
Yeah.
Right.
And there were a lot of good swerves too.
Right. But
Apollo dying. Yeah.
But let's talk about the Rocky movie. What made the Rocky movie so great? It's a very simplistic story. However, there's a lot of scenes.
I like Baby Blue.
Can you hear me now more?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yeah.
Your look today is what? Ska? You play in a ska band?
I keep trying to change it up,
Let me ask you a question. Would you ever relish the idea of wearing another color besides black? Like a baby blue, like my boy is rocking here?
Yeah, I thought about it.
There are the other colors in the, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me continue my rant here.
Yeah.
So when you watch Rocky, you can pull up on YouTube a scene from the Rocky movie, a minute and a half clip, right?
Right.
And so if you look at you extrapolate that toward a lot of good memorable little short things that make the movie so good, but we know the finish of the movie before we went in, but it's still a good movie. But the movie ends, right? It's a movie. It's 2.5 hours and you're done, right? Now professional wrestling is predicated on we have to book something every 52 weeks a year. And let me give you some examples of storylines in the past when you do long-term storytelling. Now, the Bloodline storytelling was very good because we had these scenes where they would be sitting in the room together and having these conversations, a lot of memorable little tidbits throughout that storyline that make the storyline great. But the thing with, perfect example, the Sami Zayn, that was a great storyline, but we knew where it was headed. It was going to culminate in Sami eventually turning on Roman, right? He hit him with the chair, humongous pop, right? So the baby face, the culmination of that story. But bro, where is Sami Zayn now?
The thing about I understand what Eric said, but what if you went to Rocky and 3/4 of the way in the Rocky movie, Tommy Gunn came in and he took the big fight? Or if you went to a Batman movie, I'm going directly that way. Okay, yeah. So perfect example, the Bloodline storyline was a great storyline for Sami Zayn. He was the focal point of the story, but now that storyline with him is the story arc and it ended, he's kind of in no man's land and didn't really elevate himself. Let's do another storyline, a long-term.
Can I just say something real quick, Disco, before I forget? Bro, I was thinking the same thing when he did that. When he did that sit-down interview on Raw with the girl in the stands,
right?
And he was like, "Oh, now I'm Rocky. Triple H says I'm the underdog." Well, you're not supposed to be the underdog anymore. They made you a star, and that's one of the few mistakes WWE's done. They did not elevate him.
I'm going to go one step further. This mistake. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish my thing because I'm going to say stuff a lot of you guys think.
Yeah.
It's a mistake. It's a mistake that's constantly being made in professional wrestling. I'll give you another perfect example. Wardlow and MJF. Wardlow did this long-term story. He was getting bitchy. He beat MJF, and it's how they had no clue what to do with Wardlow afterwards.
Yeah, but his was worse than Sammy because Sammy never got buried. Wardlow got buried.
Now you could go back in professional wrestling when storylines like this have progressed and big thing, and the babyface goes over. It's and you did not really think of what we're going to do next with the guy.
Right.
You look at the next 2 to 3. Okay, let me finish.
This is mind-boggling to me. That is the easiest way. You've already made the star. All you got to do is maintain him.
Let me give you perfect. This is why I think this is perfect.
Right.
Let's say they're doing this storyline with Cody is the Rocky story,
And we all know the Rocky story, and the fans are invested in the Rocky story, and we know the fans know what the finish is, right? We know Cody's going to go over, he's going to finish the story. But now we're looking back at the history of professional wrestling. Okay, what happens if Cody finishes a story? You're kind of like, afterwards, what do we do? Now let's take from a booking standpoint, okay? What if right when we get ready to finish the story, we're doing Rocky, and everybody and their mother knows what the finish of the story is? Okay, the fans, they're ready for this big pop, but 90% into the story, before we pay off the finish, let's start a new story. Let's change Rocky and like kind of finish the Rocky movie story. We're going to figure out what we're going to do with Rocky here at the end, but let's do Game of Thrones now. That's another fantastic TV genre. Let's do now we've entered, The Rock. He's part of TKO. And let's not pretend that Cody is not his character is not being portrayed as right, bro, he's been portrayed as a guy with influence on the show that brokered a deal to bring Jey Uso over to SmackDown. So he's kind of like, if you talked about Game of Thrones, Cody, Rock, Roman, like these are people with influence over the show, and we can get Cerebral now. Like we're starting a new story, right? And because let's be honest, when the Sami Zayn story was ready to be paid off, what if they introduced a new guy into the Bloodline story? Like the Bloodline has a new friend now, a new lackey. And now you have two lackeys, Sammy and the other guy. Maybe if it was Kevin Owens, and we could progress that storyline even further and keep it more interesting, other than ending this story with Cody beating Roman. And then it's like, okay, what do we pivot to now? From a booking standpoint, when you have these long-term storylines, right when you're getting ready to pay it off, it's not a bad idea because it creates controversy. But what it does, it's going to percentage of the fans up because they knew the story finish. And now they're upset they're not getting the story finish. But as creative, we're saying we're starting a whole other new story with these guys, and we're not going to pay you guys off yet because I think this is more interesting. Like what do you think? Like the opportunity for them to be doing that right now is like laid out in front of them. Then, like, what do you think about that, Cody?
Yeah, I just think that it's almost like a spin-off or a sub-story, and you elongate it. Yeah,
because a movie ends. When the movie's done, it's done. It finishes. You walk out of the movie theater, right? But for professional wrestling, bro, you have to go every single week congruently after the week before. It's like, what do we do with this story? Like, when this story's done, all right, Cody wins. Well, so what's that? Cody's a champion, and who does he face and something? Now what you've done is you've created a whole new storyline with a lot of Cerebral characters like The Rock and Roman and everything. And bro, I think this is more interesting.
This is it's a good opportunity to do that because they've been doing Cerebral writing, Bloodline, Cody Rhodes. I'm sure Rock, is all down for hey, let's change the game again and make it more Cerebral. And so that's a good opportunity for them. But I think Eric said something that's the same thing I've thought, which is WWE has earned my confidence. Everything else they've been doing good. Why, even if they made a mistake, right, and they embrace it, and like maybe they do make Rock the heel. Yeah, I'm part of TKO. I got some power. I'm gonna wield it. And I did ask for this match. When you're on my level, Cody, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Right. But there's a lot of things you can do with it.
Absolutely, tons of things about as opposed to the simplicity of just doing.
What everybody expects.
Everybody expects. Six. Like, how are we even going to build up to change people's interest in 6 weeks leading up to WrestleMania to not think that Cody's not going to win?
I'm interested in seeing what Joe says because when Conrad was talking, he was nodding his head and,
First thing, simplicity, but simplicity and the babyface getting his big wins is what started Hulk Hogan or Cena or Austin. Sometimes you need to do that. And then, you spun Austin off to, he's going to wrestle Foley and Kane and Taker. That's just, there's got to be a babyface run somewhere, right? The other thing I was going to say was...
What do you mean there's got to be a babyface run? He's beating everybody. Cody's beating just about everybody.
Right, that's the thing, right? Yeah. It's like,
so did Hulk.
That's the whole point, Cena. Joe. It's like you're looking around the roster. Who are the interesting things going forward with Cody as a babyface against whoever? As a champ.
And maybe they're not looking at it
not much, right.
Let's have a new...
It's not much.
And the other thing, like when Eric's movie the way he was put in the movie. I understand. But I look at it like since, and this is the fan thing too. Like, what if you went to see a Batman flick, right? And it was Batman, and he's getting over all these challenges, and he's got to beat Bane at the end. He's got to take Bane out, and then out of nowhere, Superman's there, and Batman goes, "Superman, you take this one." But you know what I mean?
The story hasn't been told. We don't even know what Rock told them, dude.
No, Joe. Here's the
let it play out.
Here's the difference.
Then you've got a legitimate complaint.
Here's the problem with that, and this is the difference between professional wrestling and movies. Movies end; they're done. Wrestling is a congruent soap opera like storytelling. You have to look at the next 3 months after you finish this story, because bro, there's always a lull after WrestleMania where everything's kind of flat because you paid everything off. And my thing is like, what if we change the game here and don't pay everything off at WrestleMania and keep the story going and keep throwing curveballs in there to change? The fans are getting upset because they have everything figured out. But when the thing that creates interest is when they don't have everything figured out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can miss the show a bunch of times if you know where it's going, but if you don't know what they're going to do next, you have to watch the show, which is why I think this twist is a tremendous opportunity and should be the formula for wrestling going forward. When you have a long-term storyline and everybody knows the finish, like, Sami Zayn, Wardlow stuff, when it's done, it's like, eh. Like, nobody's ever said, like, wow, that was a great, because, like, afterwards, like, Wardlow did nothing. The devil mask thing. It's like it turned out to be Adam Cole. And everybody's like, but what if my whole thing is like,
if it's a hot champion, like when they paid off Bryan and Bryan was champion, it wasn't so great. But then he got hurt anyway. But like the hottest times for WWE with Hogan and Austin, you knew it was going to happen, sure, but that doesn't mean you didn't want to see Austin somebody up or Hulk come back and pose.
Bro, that's 25, 30. That's 25, 30 years ago, before television started having these shows with ridiculous plot twists, like Breaking Bad and stuff like that. You just try to, like, where the viewer, like, you don't want wrestling to be the show where everybody watches and everybody knows what's going to happen, and it's like the dumbest fans on the planet.
Yeah, no, I hate that. I hate that.
You want.
I like to be surprised.
You like to be surprised. A lot of these fans are acting like they don't want to be surprised. They want to be smart and had everything figured out. Now they're mad
that
they
dictate.
They want to dictate. Exactly, which is why you have to change it up. Like, did you see The Rock on Pat McAfee today?
No.
Pull that up, Joe.
I'll get it
look.
For you.
It's all over.
Clip.
It's a clip. It's 1 minute long. And listen to what The Rock did, because I'm very curious, bro. Between 3 and 4 o'clock today, at 3 o'clock our time, Tucker's interview with Putin drops on Twitter. Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin.
Oh,
he interviewed Putin. That drops at 3 o'clock. And the WrestleMania thing on the thing is on at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, right?
So there's going to be a lot of traffic on the internet between 3 and 5 today. Go ahead.
All right, here you go.
Passionate fans of Cody.
Yep.
And they're called the what's that? Oh, Cody Crybabies. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, got it. I didn't know the name that was coming.
It was the Cody Crybabies, and these are men. And Cody's got to finish his story. He has to finish his story right now. It's like, wait a second, hold on. Hey, Dad. You want to go outside and play catch with me? Not now. Cody's trying to and I'm upset. The wife comes in. Hey, honey, do you want to? Not now. Cody's got to finish his story. At the end of the day, look, you got the Cody crybabies and you have the Cody fans and you have Cody himself, and there's a clear distinction between the three. But The Rock says this, those Cody crybabies, the ones for every 10 tweets, they're shoving a chicken McNugget in their mouth. For every 20 tweets, they're shoving 2 McNuggets. What? The Rock says this, all you got to do is sit back, know your role, shut your mouth, and enjoy the ride that The Rock is going to take your on. So hashtag that. Hashtag shut your up. Hashtag crybabies.
Yeah. Bro, I'm telling you, they're doing just they're just doing a great job. They've got everybody invested. They've got everybody like,
and The Rock still has it, bro. He can still kill it on the mic.
Bro, he's talking right to like Conrad and Dave LaGreca and stuff like these grown men that are like JD from New York and stuff, like all these guys that are complaining. He's talking right to them, like these grown men that are getting.
He's talking to Joe, nothing.
Right, Joe T. Talking to you.
I haven't been upset though.
You have been upset.
But Dave actually, LaGreca talked. No, it's like I said. Either LaGreca way,
he invited us on his show.
Yeah, he did. And I spoke to him this morning too. Yeah.
What did he say?
What happened?
Well, he was like, "Oh man, they put that out like it was a real story." He's like, "I'm not really having a Cody rally. I had this live show planned for months, and then they issued a retraction." I said, yeah, dude, but when we recorded this, it was Tuesday. And nobody knew that yet, and it was all in good fun anyway.
Sent them a tape about the.
I put it on our Twitter.
It's on YouTube, bro. But we get a lot of views
Twitter.
We get a lot of traffic on our YouTube.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it got like 50. I think I got like 15,000 views. So so these people.
So he saw it, and what did he say?
Oh, it was
ask him if me and Disco can join the rally, and if it's still $40.
I will.